How's it going, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for being a part of what I consider to be something not happening very often, but necessary in the world of life coaching and the world of the way we see it right now. I believe that we're seeing some of the most difficult post-traumatic situations happen in this world, and there is not a bigger and better time than now to meet a life coach. So I'm here with Tara, and she's going to be answering some questions that you have submitted. I asked you these questions, and these are the most important ones, and some fun ones too that you asked about that I felt like would be really, really good for her to answer. So welcome to the Life Coach's Corner. This is a little play on a boxing terminology that I have. I was a competitive fighter for many, many years, and there's a minute in between each round that the coach gets an opportunity to really drive into his fighter. And these are those moments, right? Where I'm gonna ask you a question, and you're gonna get that small back and forth. I'm gonna take a breath, and then it's gonna go back to fighting. That's kind of where this idea of the Life Coach's Corner came from, because it's just quick snippets. I'm hoping to promote this more. This is truly a pilot. I don't know what's going to happen after this. I have 3 months of these lined up, and we're going to go from there. So how this is going to a little bit of a work. I'm going to talk a little bit. Tara's going to talk a little bit. Some guests are going to ask some questions, and then our live audience is going to be able to share a little bit too. So Tara, do you want to talk a little bit about yourself and kind of tell the guests, tell the audience who you are and what you do?
Sure. I'm Tara Gilead-Johnson, founder of Life's Purpose Unlocked, and I am so super excited to be on this journey. I'll tell you, as a life coach, and it's so super fabulous to call myself a life coach, because it's an act of service. It's really where you allow yourself to give, to tap into the deepest part of an individual, to help them to find their space, their voice, their power. So to be in this space is really humbling for me. And I am truly, truly, truly honored to be on this path. I would say, as a emotional intelligence coach, it's something that's near and dear to my heart, because a lot of what I've accomplished throughout the years is because I've been able to finally get my emotions in check. I realized that my life is pretty much a reflection of how I feel. If I feel great, then I'm doing great. If I don't, I'm not doing so well. So I wanted to really offer emotional intelligence to my clients, because I think that's the key component to them being the best versions of themselves. I'm also a self-actualization coach. So I've married the two, right? We're going to check your emotions. And once those are in place, then we start to build and get you on a path to becoming who you want to be, your version of happy, your version of purpose, your version of accomplishment, whatever that means to you. That's what I'm here to help you do. And that's basically me in a nutshell. I work a 9 to 5. I'm a regulator in my job. I'm pretty simple. What you see is what you get. But I am a true believer in self-development, self-awareness, just self. Be totally centered. Once we get to that place, then I think there's so much opportunity to grow.
Well, thank you so much. Beautiful, beautiful introduction. And again, thank you so much for coming on and doing this. And I hope, my hope is with this production and anything that we do, after this, is that there's something that somebody can get and chew on after this, right? They're going to go to their job tomorrow and be like, what she said was really impactful. I'm really going to think about this. Or how they conveyed a certain message, or how they answered the question, or this life experience there's really something about this that I want to dig more into. And maybe I call Tara, maybe you call Tony, maybe you are actually a little more open to the idea of a life coach when they message you like a spam artist. Ugh, drives me crazy. Also, there may be some, sorry, yeah. Also, a part of it, there may be some lag.
No,
This is, go ahead.
no, you go ahead. You're on the roll. You go ahead.
Cool. Yeah, there may be some lag, there may be some issues with the recordings as we work on Zoom constantly all the time now. Internet connections can be poor. Bear with me. This is humanity, right? This is not some Hollywood production. Me and Tara talked a lot about this beforehand. We don't want this to be some, dolled up, crazy, intricate, specific Hollywood promotion. This is raw. This is reality, right? That you don't see on TV. All right. So anything else before we get started? There, Tara.
No, we can jump right in.
Cool. All right. So I have 5 questions. I put together 6, but I trimmed it to 5 because I want 5 minutes for each question. If we get to the 6th, we get to the 6th. Nobody that asked the questions came on today, and I'm sad about that because it's an opportunity for them to get an answer that they want, maybe searching for, and to engage with the coach. And I'm hoping that I can do good enough to fill in the void for them to ask a little bit more about the question. So are you ready for the first question? Abhilasha Singhi had asked how to deal with people who just don't want to reflect upon their attitudes and behaviors.
So my thinking on that, hold on, I'm just gonna admit Susan, she
Sure.
dropped
Awesome.
off. So my thinking on that, right?
Mhm.
I encourage my clients and myself, because I'm a coach of myself, right? I'm a client of myself. I encourage for us to really hone in on what we can control, right? So once you put your view and your focus on the things that you can control, it makes it easier to move forward. Someone else's reaction is out of your control. Someone else's behavior is out of your control. Someone else's response is out of your control. So there's no real way for you to navigate through what they're going to say the way that you want to hear it, right? You are dealing with people all day, every day. One of the things that, as an emotional intelligence coach, that I help my clients do is understand the emotions of others, how they relate to people, how people relate to them. But we cannot have an expectation of how they're going to respond and how they're going to deal with what we're presenting to them. That's totally outside of our control. So sometimes you just have to make peace with that. State your position, state your case, and what you're not able to control, you move past it.
So it's about ownership. Is that what you're saying? Like, this is what
It's
mine is to own, and this is what's not mine to own, and anything what's not mine, I don't have to be responsible for. Is that correct?
You don't have to be responsible for it because you can't control it. You
Where do I get
absolutely
taught
will
that?
make yourself,
How do I learn
I'm
that?
sorry, say that again.
I would say, where do we get taught that, and how do I
Well,
learn that?
you're absolutely asking a great question with that, right? We aren't taught these things in school, right? So you learn it from seeking out the information. You learn it by being open to coaching, by being, willing to invest in self and seeking out the information. Because at the end of the day, you exist in a space with other people who are not going to take ownership of their actions or their responses or what their beliefs are. And we have to exist with them. So we need to learn how to manage ourselves. And to do that, the onus becomes on us to invest in self, spend time with self, and put ourselves in a space where we can manage difficult situations, but not owning the response of that difficult person.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. It can be so hard, right? Especially if we have like an intimate interest, not to say romantic, but if we have like a real big interest and investment in somebody, we almost feel responsible for their actions too. How do we move from that?
You're on mute, Tony.
I was asking, sorry, yeah, I was asking, how do we, when we have somebody that we're having an intimate connection with, not necessarily romantic, we just have an investment in the person's life, like a good friend of ours, somebody that we've been friends with for 20 years. There's more than just this shallow expectation or responsibility. It's like we have a true investment of this person's well-being, and the responsibility is still out of our control.
The responsibility of their actions is out of your control. However, learning who you are, knowing how to manage your own emotions, knowing how to deal with certain triggers will allow you to exist in that space, even with it being somewhat out of your control. It comes back to self, right? So for example, if you're dealing with someone who is a husband or their coworker, someone you're not involved with, but your co and that person will not carry their weight on you. You have a choice with the problem, it's going to put that person on defense,
Mm-hmm.
or but in doing that, to know you need to present yourself so that you're not coming across defense. We really know what goes on in lives outside of what we see, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to show grace as well and understanding through the process.
I appreciate that. And I did get, yeah, I think that we're having a little bit of lag and glitch from you, Tara. I don't know if it's your systems or my systems, but there's a little bit of a lag, and I hope that we can get the gist of the conversation, right? This is not a perfect world, so try to work with us if you can't hear everything specifically, and I'll try to get you to Tara, rephrase things if it's not completely clear. The ending wasn't so much clear, but I think we got the gist of that question. Do you feel comfortable with that, or do you want to cover anything else as we move forward?
Well, just to recap it, in dealing with difficult individuals, manage what you can manage, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Be aware of your own emotions and how you respond, because that also impacts how people will respond to you. And be gracious, right? Have a little grace, cut people some slack, but also be true to who you are. Manage your own emotions through all process.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for clarifying that. And I'm pretty sure you were clear on that one. So I feel touched in that, and I appreciate that. Are you ready for the next? Yeah. Are you ready for the next question?
Yeah.
Okay. Paul Stiles had asked, what is your best resource in your life coaching toolkit?
I love it. So for me, I'm a music fan. I'm married to a DJ. I love music, and I absolutely use that to help me in all situations, right? Keeps me calm. When I need some motivation to get going, it's music. That's my go-to. I'm also a big believer in prayer and centering myself and really connecting to God. That to me is my biggest toolkit. My biggest tool in the kit is my relationship with God and praying and trusting in a higher power. The other little bits of tools that I carry around are books, self-care books, self-help books, and really just tapping into resources, consuming things online, anything like that that I can access really quickly to shift a thought or boost a mood. But for me, the top two would be prayer and music.
Those are pretty good toolkits, I think. If I were to be a judge, I'd say those are high up there. So how do you use those to incorporate change or incorporate movement in your clients?
Well, those are my personal tools. Of course, for my clients, they're going to be different, right? Because we're all individuals. So it's interesting that you ask that question, because a part of my program is a purpose toolkit, right? Because I'm Life Purpose Unlocked, and I help my clients tap into their idea of what they want to contribute to the world. So for different clients, it's different things. I have a client who, she also loves music. She loves gospel music. That's a part of her toolkit. She likes mantras, right? And that's a part of her purpose toolkit. But what I tell her specifically for mantras, make them realistic, make them believable, make them yours, right? I know we tend to pull mantras from Pinterest, and they work, but make them realistic for you. You know, what a mantra is good if you believe it, because now you believe in the words that you're speaking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. And can I put you on the spot?
Sure.
Do your mantra.
I am powerful.
Mm.
And I absolutely believe that.
Mm. I love that. I love that. Can I share my mantra?
And
okay. So I have two, actually.
What is yours?
Yeah, I have two, actually. Hi, dude. So my first one is I am love, right? I'm already love. You're gonna have to give me a second. That's my first one. And then my second one is always, right? This too shall pass. As we move into difficult things in my life, our lives.
I love that one.
Yeah, it's this too shall pass. And it's something that I use with everything, because my judgment also is that there's a lot of things that we get so horse blinded to, right? This is my only existence. So the motto thing is fantastic, and I love it. Is there anything else that you want to say as far as your best coaching toolkit that you have available?
I think it's totally based on the client, and we tap into what they connect to, what moves them, because a coaching relationship, it's a co-creative relationship driven by the client. The client absolutely has the power to bring forth what they want. Their dreams.
Aren't the life coaches supposed to have all the answers? Aren't you supposed to tell me what to do?
Now that's a total misconception. It's no. I have a coach. I have several coaches. So no, I don't have all the answers. Mm-hmm. I am being coached. Let's be real about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like, we're human too,
so,
right?
Life coach. Exactly.
We're
exactly.
Human. Yeah.
We're human. Yes, we don't have all the answers. The power of the answer is in the client. Mm-hmm. We just facilitate it. We're change agents. Mm-hmm. We just open up the discussion, open up the mindset, open up the spirit, open up the emotions, and allow the greatness to come forward at the client. The client has the power. So, I can't take the credit when my client does what she needs to do and she's bringing forward all these results. That's her.
Yeah, and I love
I'm
that
just
we're able to,
the agent allowing her.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that we're able to have this discussion immediately, right? So early in this, because that's such a huge misconception. Is there anything else that you want to cover as far as that, or are we good to move on to the next question?
good to move on if there aren't any follow-ups from those who've logged in
Yeah, I don't
on that
know.
particular.
A couple of them are
Yeah,
sending
we're
me
good to move on.
messages in chat, but outside of that, if you're sending me a message in chat, you better be ready to ask the question when it comes time, because you'll be
Right?
called out.
I love it.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the next question. Jane Burney asked the question. I think this is an amazing question. How do I become unbelievably confident? Oh, go ahead. Yeah. So
The short answer to that, you're already confident. You're already confident. That's the short answer to that. The thing is, confidence is the end result, right? It comes at the end of taking some action. So in order to feel confident, you have to do something. You need to take an action towards the thing that you don't feel confident doing or being. So you're already confident, but you have to take action to increase that confidence, to feel stable in that thing that you don't feel so confident about. It's all in the action and
oh, you're cutting out a little bit at the end. Can you repeat that one?
I said, you're already confident. I'll repeat that. You're already confident. We just need to take some action so that it increases. It's the end result. It's the byproduct. It's not something that you're going to learn. It's not something that, you could read all the books about self-confidence. There's action that needs to happen, and then that increases the.
So can I challenge you again?
Yeah.
How does one accept something that they already don't know they have? So if they're already unconfident, how do they know they're confident? How do they step into confidence if they're already unconfident, whatever? Yeah, go ahead.
So let's use an example, right? Let's say driving. You're learning to drive. You're a brand new driver, brand spanking. You just got your driver's license, right? You don't feel that secure behind the wheel the very first couple of times that you drive, right? But what you'll notice, the more you do it, the less the jitters show up. So the confidence is fueled by that feeling of security, that feeling of, you know what, I can sit on this platform and speak about whatever we're discussing because I know the material. I'm comfortable discussing it. That makes me confident. It's all in how you feel. It's what that secure feeling where you could square your shoulders up, you could look straight at a person and feel great, right? That's the confidence. It works the other way. If you're not prepared, then you're not going to show up with that authority. So I'll say it again. You're already confident. You just need to step into it.
Absolutely. And I don't know if were you a confident younger person, or did it take you some time to grow into confidence?
I definitely had to go into confidence in certain areas of my life. Hold on, I'm admitting Danielle from our class, Tony. I'm admitting her. Hold on.
Awesome. Yeah, bring her on.
So I definitely had to step into confidence in certain areas of my life, right? When I became a mom, I had no clue what I was doing. I still really don't know what I'm doing, but 10 years in, I feel more confident in different ways. There are things that you'll have a dip in confidence in because you're not so familiar with it. But it's the result of action. The more you do a thing, the more secure you become in that thing.
Yeah, I'm super glad that.
So just keep doing.
Yeah, awesome. I'm super glad we got that ending because you cut out there for a second, but I think that's quality stuff, right? That very last part that you put in there. But we'll have to move on to this next question, and I'm going to skip. And I'm sorry, Amy Green, if you ever see this, I'm going to skip your question. We're going to go to Jermaine Nasser and then on to L Quick, because L Quick is my buddy, and I want to be able to ask his question. So this Jermaine Nasser question was one of my favorite questions. Have you ever thought that you might be feeling satisfied by the idea of helping others and changing the world, while in fact you're just feeding your ego?
Yeah. Because of the work that we do as coaches, right? You have to want to serve. You have to want to give. Like, I know I was made to help women feel empowered. So I'm doing this work as a part of my purpose. God made me for this. So there's no ego here. It's all an act of service and giving back. Mm-hmm. Ideally, I feel joy when my clients do well, but it's all them. I'm giving of myself so that they can live and be and thrive and have the experience that they want. There's absolutely no ego involved. I'm actually humbled because my clients are allowing me to see them in their most vulnerable states. They're trusting me with so much of their personal lives that I'm humbled by that, right? Because they're trusting me to help them get over that hump, to overcome that obstacle. So it's more of a humbling experience as opposed to, feeling, this whole ego boost. I share the joy because I do want my clients to do well, but it's more of that cheerleader, I'm here for you, let's do it kind of feeling, as opposed to an ego boost for sure.
Yeah. Okay. And I appreciate you saying that. And thank you for that about you. Now put yourself in the shoes of other coaches that actually do that, right? What do you think it is about them that they're doing these things to self-serving purposes?
I always two sides to a coin, right? But what I will say to anyone here is go into the coaching relationship being open-minded and go with your gut. If you are engaging with a coach who you think is self-serving, then that's not the coach for you. Because as I mentioned earlier, the coaching relationship is a co-creative relationship where the client is the driver. I'm in the passenger seat. Sometimes I may even need to be in the back seat. This is all the client. So for those who you may encounter that you feel like they're trying to steer you, that's not the relationship for you. Because the power is in the client to unlock everything that they need. I'm just the change agent. I am not the driver.
Yeah, I think the way you phrase that is great because that turns it around back onto the client, rather than singularly being on the coach. Like, let's get them ownership on the client. Cool. Thank you for answering that. Are you ready to move on to the final question? From L, my buddy L. So I'm not sure, L. I wish you were here for this. And I don't know how to rephrase this in a way that may, I'm just gonna say it. I don't want to put any context because I might misinterpret something. If people keep telling me I'm meant for so much more and I'll do great things, well, what is it?
So that's a purpose question, right? That
Yeah.
comes down when I hear it and when I read it, it comes down to purpose. And Tony, I'll tell you, I struggled with my purpose for years because I was ignoring what was right in front of me. And I was also listening to the voices of everyone else around me, right? Like my parents wanted me to go in a certain direction. You know, I thought I needed this direction in front of you. Purpose is that thing that is drawn to you like a magnet. It doesn't have to be anything fabulous. It doesn't have to be lights, camera, action. It doesn't have to be anything profound. You know, that's another misconception, right? The thing that you're meant to do doesn't have to be this like the sky opens up and the lights shine. No. Purpose is what keeps pulling you. It's that intuition, it's that gut nagging, that thing that you constantly hear. I've always known that I was made to help people. But like many others just thought, oh no, that can't be it. No, that's not it. But that was it. Here I am. To like if I had listened to what was in front of me 20 years ago, I'd been a coach 20 years.
Me too.
So it's all in what's in front of you. It's the thing that draws to you. It says, listen, this is what you need, this is what you should do. It's that feeling, that emotion that you feel when you get excited by doing a thing, by engaging with a but
You're cutting out
different
a little
direction,
bit
and they
there.
constantly are drawn back to,
You were cutting out there for
is
a
that
second.
better now?
You're better now. Yeah.
That's better. Okay. So
Yep.
to wrap that up, purpose is what you are drawn to. It's really what you're drawn to. It's the thing that brings you most joy. It's the thing that makes you feel content. At the end of the day, when you are done, you feel super accomplished because you're doing what you love. And purpose doesn't super profound.
Yeah.
It's just really what makes you feel content.
And can I expand on that just a little bit? The only thing I would say is awesome, because you're bringing up a lot of stuff, and I just want to like go in, right? Because it's amazing stuff. The thing that came up for me is the life coach is like just a person to tell you that it's okay to want that. You're enough. You're valued in your passion for what you want. That purpose for you is okay. So chase it the fuck down. Yeah. Stop doing this stupid job that doesn't serve you and chase your dream. That's all the life coach really does.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, go ahead. Right.
And tap into how you feel doing it, because we do things that aren't in alignment. You don't feel good, you just do it because you have to. That's not feels good. And again, if you don't take away anything else, understand that purpose does not have to be what you see in social media. It doesn't have to be this elaborate thing. It's what feels right for you. It's what your soul yearns for. It comes from deep within. It's definitely not external. It's within. Your purpose is internal.
Are you sure that I'm not supposed to be doing what my parents want me to do? Or my boss? Or my wife?
Oh, Tony, I did that.
Right. I thought I was supposed to follow in my dad's footsteps.
No, that's not it.
Right.
No, that's not it. I did that. I did what my parents wanted me to do.
You're cut out there a little bit, Tara.
Not what we feel contentment.
Yeah, we missed all that. Oh,
Now I was saying I followed my parents' path, and you know it does, it's good for what it's worth, right? But it's not what brings me contentment. It's not what brings me joy. I'm not contributing to the world the
mhm.
way that I want to, just following path that I originally started on.
Oh, that was my son. Yeah, but yeah, I love it. Thank you. I think we got a good portion of that. And we're going to transition. Is there anything that you want to finish on for those questions? Take a deep breath, get a drink of water, and then we're going to jump into some audience questions. So I've been kind of communicating with them a little bit, and they should be ready. I'm going to call on some people.
Okay.
Do you need anything right now? Good to go. And for the listeners and for eventually people who down the road, when I edit this and create material, there may be some, I appreciate you working with the audio, because Tara's having a little bit of an issue, but we're getting a lot of really good stuff. So I hope that we can get some more. So are you ready? Okay, Silvera, are you there?
I'm ready.
I am. I'm here.
Okay, your first question, do you remember what the first question was? I'm going to ask one question at a time, and then if we wrap around, we'll get your next question, okay?
No, I believed I asked what are the benefits of life coaching. I know what it is because Tara is my coach. She's my life coach, and she has certainly made and well, assisted me in making an impact, right, for the better in my life. You know, her company Life's Purpose Unlocked. I definitely unlocked my purpose, you know, to the point where it's, you know, I'm in a happy space mentally and emotionally that I haven't experienced in years, thanks to her. So the reason why I asked that question is because I want her to elaborate on that for the listeners, you know, for someone who's never experienced life coaching before, you know, that her answer could probably help them, you know, move into the direction of getting some assistance.
Awesome. So do you feel comfortable with sharing a little bit about that, Tara?
Sure. So Susan, thank you for asking a question and for
Breaking up a little bit.
Simple, right? For years, I was just this massive thing. Is that better?
I got the "is that better?" and then I got "massive thing." Those are the two things that I got. I don't know about anybody else.
We had snow last week and yesterday, and maybe that's what's causing the issue. So I apologize for that, but we'll push through.
Yeah, let's push
the
through.
benefits of life coaching, right? We're pushing through.
Yeah.
As a coach, I help clients find themselves and achieve their goals by accepting and understanding their emotions. So it's a platform and a process that helps you to grow. It's that simple. If you need to speak to someone about past trauma and difficulties from the past, that's therapy. Coaching helps you to achieve your dreams. It's that simple. Mm-hmm. You connect with a coach so that you can grow. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're
does that-
welcome.
yeah, sure. Does that answer your question over there, Silvera? I know it was kind of like more for the people listening eventually, but if you want to ask anything else, we got a little bit more time. I might have time for 2 more questions. Michael
Okay,
Fisher, you're next.
I do have one that I'm curious about, because Tara mentioned connecting to her spiritual side in all of this, right? And so do I. And the first thing I thought about when she mentioned that was, okay, what if I don't believe in God, right? What if I'm an atheist? Would I still be coachable?
Being coachable is being open to the process, right? And being open means accepting of different people, different beliefs, right? So I put it out there that I am a Christian. I believe in God. And I lead with, I am here to coach you through your situation. It's not about me or what's going on with me. I am connected to God. But if that's not your belief, then I would hope that you don't judge me because of what I believe, because I'm certainly not judging you because you don't believe in God. The process works either way, right? So it's just a matter of keeping an open mind and understanding that I have a different perspective, you have a different perspective, but we respect that. We connect and respect each other in spite of our differences. So even, everyone's coachable as long as they have an open mind.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for
That was a good question.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's an important one too, right? Like how can we
Yeah.
bridge the gap of this religious spectrum in a good way, right? I just want to do this in a good way.
Yeah.
I think that's a great question. So we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah.
We'll do next question, and then if we have time, we'll do one more. But if not, we'll just do closing. Michael Fisher, are you there?
Sure.
Here I am. I'm here, Tony.
Okay. Do you remember the question, or do you want me to ask it?
I think my question was the following. Was there a particular life experience or episode in life for our guest that drove her? What's her name again? Pardon me.
Tara, I'm Tara.
Tara, thanks. Tara, do you have a story? It could be a long one or a short one, but what was the thing that happened that made you say, hey, now I want to do this? Coaching.
So thank you for asking that. I definitely have a story, and it stems from that voice that told me I wasn't good enough. And it was a family member, right? So it was a close voice. It was a voice that was constantly in my ear. It was a voice that I looked up to. It was a voice that I trusted. And for many years, all I ever heard were situations, reasons. You're not good enough. No, you can't do that. You're just not good enough. And that crushed my spirit. It killed me. It killed my esteem. It killed my confidence. It hurt my soul because, again, this is a person who is very close to me, not anymore, but was very close to me. It's the voice that I trusted. And it affected me in so many ways. It affected me in college. It affected me growing up in trying to find my space and place in the world, trying to find the career path. Like, I was shy about everything. I didn't really even like myself because I heard I wasn't good enough. Like, there was nothing that I ever did was good enough. And that was hard for years, Michael, for years. I struggled with that until I had my son, because I realized I couldn't raise a son to be confident if I didn't believe in myself. I couldn't put into him the goodness that I want him to have when I didn't even believe it in myself. So I had to course correct. And I started working on myself 10 years ago. And I'm still working on myself. Mm-hmm. And then I realized, you know what? I'm not the only one. There's so many other people, other women who are struggling with confidence and self-doubt and imposter syndrome, just like I was. And I'll tell you, it's not very far from the surface. I still have to remain coachable to overcome these issues. So that was, you touched a spot, Michael. You allowed me to tap into the deepness of myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was,
I appreciate that.
I think we have a moment. That was a moment. Deep, powerful, intimate, intense. That was a moment. And I'm gonna take you off of video, Michael. But that was a moment, you know, and this is what I was hoping for, right? These moments, and it's a coaching term, or it's a boxing term too. In the fight, there are these moments where you know that something just happened, right? Something big just happened. Yeah. That's one of those moments. So thank you for sharing a little bit about that. And so, will you tell us a little bit more about how to get a hold of you, at your website, maybe your phone number if you're comfortable, or anything else, your email, so I can post this to all of the platforms that I'm going to do, and then I'll close.
Sure. You can find me on social media at Life's Purpose Unlocked. I'm on Facebook, Tara Johnson. Full disclosure, my biz BFF, Jenny, has been telling me, like, your Facebook page ain't popping. Well, it's not, but you can still find me on Facebook, and you can find me on Instagram. You can email me at answers@lifespurpose.com. My website is being developed, but you can definitely connect to me in those ways on social media.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being my first guest. Thank you for working through some of the difficulties of this electronic new world, virtual. I know, right? World. Yeah. And I plan on doing this the first Monday of every month. Next month, I'm going to be having Riddhi Bajaj come on, and she's also in one of our classes. So anybody else, I'm bringing on coaches, and then I have Ed Gurwitz coming on after that. I'm going to spend the month creating material, editing this stuff, and starting to really push it out on my platforms. So I want you to be here. I want you to get questions answered. And just like tonight, I want you to have a moment.
Yeah, this was great. I appreciate you having me, and I appreciate our guests and the audience and attendees, you know, for sticking through it, right? It was difficult with the technology going bonkers, but Thank you for hanging in there with me. And thank you for having me, Tony. I really appreciate that. This is my first anything. So this is huge for me.
All right.
So thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course. I'm going to stop the recording. And then anybody wants to close or say goodbye.